You have found a very costly necklace and you wear it and people love it and you hold your head very high. You become attached to it. You put it in a place very, very safe and no thief can go. Every now and then, even during the night, you look into it. That is safe. But you are not really gaining more happiness. Your happiness now has become a big illusion. Om Nilambuja Shyamal Komalangam Sītā Samaropit Vāmabhagam Pāṇau Maha Sāyaka Charu Chāpam Namāmi Rāmam Raghuvanshanatham. Rodations to Lord Rāma, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sītā is seated on his left side and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Bālakāṇḍa of Sri Rāmacharitmanas by Goswami Tulsi Ji. And we are turning towards the Doha 150. Before I enter into this, I will repeat one chaupai that's very important. Hari Ananda Hari Katha Ananta Kahi Sunahi Bahuvidhi Sabasanta Ramachandra ke Charita Suhaye Kalapakoti Lagi Jahin Gaye. Hari Ananda, God as a Rama, that's being the name of God that is highlighted in Ramayana is Rama. That God is limitless, boundless, countless, implying his glory is beyond count. And his stories are also countless. You could count the waves of the ocean. That's possible. But to count the glories of God, that's countless. And likewise, the stories of God. If one were to go on talking, if it were possible, a tongue that didn't stop. Kalap koti lagi. To understand kalap itself is a mind-blowing concept. Thousands and thousands of years go to form a kalap. And kalap koti, millions of kalap. If we went on describing, it will never end. Think of it in a totally different way. The world is always singing the glory of God. You don't like singing, talking about the glory of God. Everything that you see is speaking about the glory. A flower has blossomed. It's drawing your attention. You look into it. And if your mind is very sensitive, you wonder how, from crude earth, how all the intelligence has gone into it to convert so many minerals, so many elements, and design them and pattern them into a such wondrous display. So there isn't any creature, there isn't any object, there isn't any human being or any living being. It's not talking about the glory of God. Everyone is involved in Rama Katha. Ghat ghat mein hai Sai Ramata. That Rama dwells in every ghat, in every pot. Who is the pot? Everyone. Katuk bachan mat bol re. Therefore, do not hurt feelings of others by speaking sharp words, bitter words. Now coming back to the present context. Nārada's story has been concluded, and that was the cause of Rama's incarnation. Now, Lord Shiva gives another cause. Out of countless causes, a few causes or few incarnations are being pointed out. But the focus of the Ramayana is in this particular incarnation that Lord Shiva is now going to present. Cause of Rama. The Rama out of millions of Ramas. Aparahetu sunissaila kumari, kahun vichitra katha vistari. O daughter of the Himalayan mountain, referring to Parvati Devi, listen to another cause that led to Rama's incarnation. This is what I'm going to give you in detail. It is because of this cause that I'm going to describe. Brahman, Rama, Satchidananda, who is birthless, attributeless, formless, that Rama became the king of Ayodhya. Jo Prabhu vipin phirata tumha dekha, bandhu samet dhare munivesha, jasu charita avaloki bhavani, sahit sati sharir rahihu baurani. Also, you remember this context. Before, Parvati in her previous incarnation was Sati Devi. And when Shiva and Sati were flying through their aerial viman, they happened to see Rama and Lakshmana. And in that incarnation, that was a scene where Rama and Lakshmana, they were looking for Sītā, who had been kidnapped. And Rama was so much in distress, asking every tree, have you seen my beloved Sītā? Seeing this, Lord Shiva bowed his head, folded his hands, and said, Jaya Satchidananda, glory to Satchidananda. And Sati asked Shiva, whom are you adoring? You are the God of gods. And he said, no, he is my God. Now she was more troubled. If he is God, and he is in such a distress. And Shiva bows down to him. How could Shiva be faulty? How could he be default and do something that is not truth? However, her mind became so confused. Seeing this, Lord Shiva asks her, why don't you go and test, find who the Rama is? And she does it. Assumes the form of Sītā and sits right the path that was moving on towards her. Lakshmana sees Sati in the form of Sītā, and he turns, whispers to Rama, here is someone who has come to spoil our drama. And then both of them come close to her. And Rama bows down to her, saying, "O Devi, adorations to you. Where is Lord Shiva? Why are you separated from Shiva?" Suddenly she was shocked to realize she has made a big mistake. She turned back, went on to retire, go on to her own place towards Shiva. But in this movement, she gets into a world of Maya and sees Rama, Sītā, Lakshmana. She sees many worlds all come into her view. And in every world he finds Rama is with Sītā. And after having been as if whipped by all this vision, she ultimately comes to Shiva. And Lord Shiva asks, tested Rama? She said, "Oh Lord, no. Why should I disbelieve you?" Shiva knew, and he also knew that some illusion has to be broken. And so I'm not going back further in that story. Same Sati becomes Parvati, who is also known as Girija. In the storyline, daughter of Himalaya, the spirit of Himalaya. And it is this Parvati that in this incarnation takes the opportunity of listening to the glory of Rama. So she asks Lord Shiva, "Please tell me all about Rama." So in this process, अपर हेतु सुनु शैल कुमारी, कहूँ विचित्र कथा विस्तारी. Another cause for Rama's incarnation, daughter of the Himalayas. I'm going to give this story in detail. The story that will explain what led Brahman, who is unborn, attributeless, formless, what led him to become the king of Ayodhya. Another name for Ayodhya is Koshalpur. जो प्रभु विपिन विफिरत तुम्ह देखा बंधु समेत धरे मुनिवेशा. It is this Rama whom you saw wandering in the forest along with his brother in ascetic form. Jasu charit avaloki bhavani. O Bhavani, another name for Parvati. Seeing those two brothers grieving, Sati Sharir Rahihu Baurani, in your Sati body, you became mad. Hindi word is Baurani. Its basis is bara. And you act like a pig. जहु न छाया मिटति तुम्हारी तासु चरित सुनु भ्रमरु जहारी. Even now, the shadow of that madness doesn't leave your mind. I will recite to you, I will relate to you the story of that Rama. Ram Charitra, the exploits of Rama that destroys the disease of Brahma. Brahma refers to delusion. लीला कीन्हि जो तेहि अवतारा सो सब कहीं हूँ मति अनुसारा. All the sportive exploits that Rama did in his incarnation, I will relate to you according to my understanding. Radvaj suni sankar bani Sakuchi saprema umam sukani. Bharadwaja is telling this story. I have already explained to you simultaneously. There are different set of teachers telling to different set of people. So Yajnavalkya is telling this whole story to Bharadwaja. And he is relating to Bharadwaj that when Parvati Devi listened to Shiva's taunting words, very lovingly she began to smile, shyly. Lage bahurik baranay vrishaketu So avatara bhayau jahi hetu. Lord Shiva, whose banner is ox. Ox bannered Shiva. Ox relates to dharma. Dharma is all the virtue, the purpose of life. It has 4 feet: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And Lord Shiva rides upon that dharma, implying it is under God's grace and guidance that the soul within you pursues 4 purposes of life. Dharma, the ethical value of life. Artha, material value. Kama, social value. Moksha, attaining liberation. Spiritual value of life. People also give different other comments about the 4 feet, but I am giving you some simple comment. And that's why Lord Shiva is always portrayed riding on a bull. And when he forgets riding, he keeps a banner. Bull is up there. I'm saying jokingly. So मैं तुम सन कहूँ सुनु मुनीश मन लाई राम का कलि मलहरणी मंगल करणी सुहाई. Yagyavalkya says to Bharadwaj, all that Shiva related to Parvati, the same I'm going to relate to you, O great sage. Give your total attention. The story of Rama destroys the impurities, malas of Kali, and promotes Mangal. Mangal, all that is auspicious. Just to understand in a simple way, malas are always same. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. These are the malos. And if you are gripped by mala, this not the mala by rosary I'm talking about, gripped by mala, then there is always inauspiciousness in your life. Amangal. But again, human mind has its different evaluation. Things that are pleasant to you, because they are so auspicious. Today, you got into a restaurant and they fed you lots and lots of rasgullas. Oh, what a mangal! Likewise, anything that gives you pain, slightest pain or discomfort, are inauspicious. Hardly I started walking, a skunk came in. It spoiled the day. A mangal. Profounder implication. Soul, if it remains bonded with the world process, if it remains restricted by knots of the heart, karma, karma, vasana, and ignorance, avidya, kama, and karma, these are called the knots of the heart. And this soul that is restricted by these continues to incarnate. And all this process is amangal from higher point of view. But any movement that opens the door to liberation, whether it looks painful or pleasant, that's real mangal, real auspiciousness. And I have also given you in a kind of joking manner, mangal, auspiciousness, is mangal, that which dissolves your mind. Mind continues to play its part as a normal mind, and it swings by raga and dvesha. Pleasant things happen, mind swings. How wonderful. May I get that object, may I have that person who made me so happy. And when there is anything that's bitter experience, the mental will, may I never get that. May that object, person, get away from my sight. And mind moves like a pendulum and your soul gets caught in that movement. But when that is happening, there is amangal. This is not auspicious. But when mind turns to serenity, begins to receive God's connection, unity, tuning with God, whether it is adversity or prosperity, that it rises beyond raga dvesha. That state is called manonash. It is a powerful movement leading to next step, vasana akshaya. Subtle vasanas undergo a change, they become pure and they begin to melt away. And the third called tattva jnana, intuitive revelation, I am Brahman. Rama Katha enables you to have all this. Kalima Laharani, impurities of the heart, malas, are destroyed. And Davi Sampat begins to develop divine qualities, leading to absolute Mangal. Mind becomes dissolved. Now, what is that story we are getting into? Swayambhu manu aru satarupa jinate bhai nara srishti anupa dampati dharam acharana nika ajahu gava shruti jinate lika. In the Bible of Adam and Eve. Here, in Hindu scriptures, Manu and Shataru. Manu, that has turned into the word Manushya. And it is Manu that has turned in English as man, mankind. And it relates to Man, not human, not ordinary mind, cosmic mind. So that potentiality of the cosmic mind and cosmic Maya, Shatarupa. Shatarupa means Swayambhuva Manu is married to Queen Satarupa. Literally, Satarupa means 1,000 forms. She was so fashionable, every moment she was changing her body. And they became the source of the creation of human beings. All this relates to many Puranic stories. Niputtana pada sutta jasu tasu dhruva hari bhagat bhayav sutta jasu. Manu and Shatarupa, their son was Uttanapad. And the son of Uttanapad, devotee Dhruva. All these are big stories in the Puranas. And the younger brother of Dhruva is known as Priyavrata. Lagusutta nama Priyavrata tahi, Veda Purana prasansahitahi. He is popular in the Vedas and Puranas. Devahuti punita sukumari, somuni kardam ke priyanari. Same Manu and Shatarupa. This is the lineage of Manu and Shatarupa. Son is Uttanapad, and his lineage, his daughter is Devahuti. She was married to sage Kardam. Adideva Prabhu Deen Dayala, Jathardhare Uchahi Kapil Kripala. And Devahuti and Kardam, they became the parents of Lord's incarnation in the form of Kapil. Kapil Maharshi, sage Kapil. Sankhya Shastra Jana Pragata Bakhana, Tattva Vichara Nipuna Bhagavana. And it is sage Kapila who promoted or imparted Sankhya Darshan, Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is a philosophical development to a very great height. Next step is Vedanta. But prior to Vedanta, Sankhya. So most of the philosophical works follow Sankhya's details. It is Sankhya philosophy that talks about 25 tattvas, elements, that gives you different levels of gross, subtle, causal. In other words, it is Sankhya philosophy that has been embellished into Vedanta. All this is described just to introduce how great Swayambhuva, Manu and Shatarupa were. But now turning your attention from the line of these two personalities, Tehi Manu Raj Kinha Bahu Kala, Prabhu Ayasu Sab Vidhi Pratipala. That great Manu ruled his kingdom for a long time. And he always followed the rule of God presented by scriptures. In other words, he was a highly righteous personality. But you must realize, being righteous is one thing. Attaining enlightenment is another thing. Righteousness is a process. You can stay in a righteous level and allow your mind to go into enjoying the fruit of dharma, fruit of punya karma, fruit of righteous deeds. Or you become more advanced and understand that even the fruit of righteous karmas is perishable, and that's not the real goal of life. As long as you are interested in fruit of karma, it is called sakamya. It is called pravritti movement. And the moment the same righteous deeds become directed towards yoga, karma yoga, where you don't even expect to have fruits of your karmas, implying you don't want to stay on in a world where you have to get into the human embodiment and be stuck to a nervous system from brain and all these fibers coming out. To the masses, majority of people, this is not the great attainment, good karma. But this is a big delusion. This does not diminish the importance of good karmas. Do the same good karmas, but not with that intention, but with the intention of pleasing God, bring bhakti. The moment bhakti enters your heart, your attention is not to the worldly enjoyment, no matter how great it may be. This point is being brought out in this story. Hoi na vishaya virag, bhavan basat bha chauthapan, hriday bahut dukh lag, janam gayu hari bhagati ben binu. Now he became spiritually sensitive. Came towards aging. It's called Chautpan, the 4 stages in your personality. Babypan, childhood, kidpan, youthpan. I'm doing a fun. And age path. So it's the 4th stage. And that stage has come. What have you done? If you were a merchant, you will say, oh, I have done. Look how much money they earn. Look how much charity have I given. Look how many servants I had. But all that is folly. But if you have not developed love of God, devotion to God, and the idea of being led by God's will, and allow your mind to enjoy profound relaxation. If you have not learned that, all your attainment is in vain. Again, I will remind you that parable of a merchant who goes to buy a horse. The dealer of the horse was so attached to his horse that he says, my horse, I can tell you the qualities. He describes the horse with all details. The hoof of the horse, the mane of the horse, the feet of the horse, the ears of the horse. And then this person who wants to buy us, any default in the horse? It's just one. That horse is dead. Put it in another way. Ask yourself, how many qualities do I have? And here, listen to the spiritual whisper. Have you experienced love of God? Are you working for coming closer to God, to attain union with God? Are you thinking of how joyous it is to feel that you are supported by God? If you don't have that taste and you are not moving towards it, then you are dealing with a dead horse. So, hriday bahut dukh lag, swayambhu manu. He felt terrible pain in his heart that this chautpan has come, aged state has come, and the life has been wasted without devotion to Lord Hari, same as Lord Rama. Barbas raj sutahi tabadinha Nari sameta gavana banakinha. He compelled his son to become the ruler of the kingdom. And along with his wife, he went to a forest. Tīratha varanayamisha vikhyata atipunita sadhaka siddhidata. He went to the best of pilgrimage centers, known as Naimisharanya, a holy place. And those who practice sadhana in that place, they attain siddhi, perfection, very fast. I'll just give you one simple, because there are many things that I have to omit. Naimisharanya. Naimish term comes from nimish. Nimish implies winking. Close your eyes are open, that's called nimesh. It is symbolic of reality that shines in between the thought waves. Another reference to it, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. First, to understand all you are experiencing is not a complete continuity. Every experience is just like the experience of movies, where many things going on. To the audience, it doesn't seem anything abnormal. But to analytic personality, every movement is a combination of many forms. Forms are being projected one after another in quick succession. Similarly, your vritti, thought waves of your mind, go on creating the life you are living. The whole story of your life is a cinema show based on thought waves. And where thought waves are transcended, in between those two thought waves, there is a key to attaining enlightenment. And on that basis, the term comes Naimisharanya. There you are taught how to control your thought waves and find the reality behind thought waves, which is pure consciousness. Basahi taha muni siddha samaja, tahiya harashi chaleu manuraja. And in that holy place, there lived great munis, great sadhaks, great yogis, and sages. In that society of these personalities, the king and queen began to enjoy pilgrimage. They looked like jnana and bhakti in embodied state. They are not still in that state fully, but that's the beginning. Honahar bhi Rāvaṇa ke hot chikne path. You know the glory of a big tree by looking at it germinates as it gives few little leaves, the shining little leaves that tell you how great this tree is going to be. So Manu and Shatarupa have the same potentiality, and all the great congregation of people looked at them with great admiration, as if jnana and bhakti are moving together. Pahunche jai dhenu mati tira, harshi nahane nirmal neera. And in this tirth process, pilgrimage process, they went to the sacred bank of Gomati river and they plunged themselves in the sacred water. Aaye milan siddha muni jnani, dharam dhurandhar nipirishijani. And after that they enjoyed satsanga with great siddhas, jnanis, personalities. Here again the term Gomati, go, cow, mati, understanding. The cows are symbols of Upanishadic knowledge. That subtle implication, subtle meaning is implied in all the tirthas. People go there, but those who are more sensitive, they want to know the story of the tirtha. And then they are lured to get into spiritual sadhana. जहाँ जहाँ तीरथ रहे सुहाए, मुनिन सकल सादर करवाए. Wherever there were sacred spots, they visited them, and they were always in the assembly of sages. They were, in brief, they enjoyed tirthas, holy places, along with profound satsanga. Krisha sharira muni pata paridhana, santa samaja nita sunahi purana. Their bodies became very thin, emaciated. They were wearing ascetic garbs, and they were listening to the stories, teachings of the Vedas and Puranas related to them by sages and saints. Dvadasa achara mantra puni, japahi sahita anurag, vasudeva pad pankaruha, dampati mana atilag. And they were initiated in the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which they recited with great love. The term is anurag, which has its own subtle implication. Implication is, when you enjoy any object, you develop rag, attachment to the object. But that attachment does not go on growing. It goes on rotting. Let me dramatize. You have found a very costly necklace and you wear it, and people love it, and you hold your head very high. You become attached to it. Put it in a place very, very safe and no thief can go. Every now and then, even during the night, you look into it. But you are not really gaining more happiness. Your happiness now has become a big illusion. It doesn't make you sleep, doesn't make you feel peaceful. It goes on building up pride in your heart. So that's not anurag. It's a decaying rag. Anurag, love of God. A little drop you get, how happy you become. Now you want to become more. Like a bee goes after sucking nectar, dips its nose into it. I may not be correct about that. Has very little taste, but then it goes after more and more and more. So that type of love is called anurag. Bhakti term has been defined, paranurakti riti ishvare, paranurakti. That increasing love that becomes supreme, that's called parabhakti. So, they started reciting Dvadasha mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now, readers of Ramayana, they miss this important point. Vasudeva is the name of Krishna. Krishna is the very foundation of Rama's birth. So throughout Ramayana, Krishna word may be mentioned just 1 or 2 times. Rama is highlighted. And devotees get confused. If you are a Krishna Bhakta, why should you speak Rama? If you are a Ram Bhakta, why should you turn to Krishna? But Tulsi Dasi already started it with the very foundation. Instead of repeating Om Shri Rāmāyaṇa or any other mantra, he repeats Vasudeva mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Karahi ahar shaka phala kanda, sumirahi brahma satchidananda. And began to practice austerity. Sag is like spinach and things of that. Phal, fruits, kand, roots. These are from ancient times. These are very nutritious. People are coming back to that. And eating sattvic food, their mind became more and more involved in Smaran, Brahma Satchidananda, doing japa, japa tadartha bhavanam. Along with japa, you mentally turn your mind to the glory of God, create your own bhavana, feeling. All the stories about God, they can become your objects of meditation. Hari hetu karana tap lage, vari adhara moola phala tyage. And for having darshan of God, they enter into severe austerity and abandon eating even fruits and roots and began to live with water. This is a dramatization of austerity, which has one aspect of it is a practical reality. Many saints and sages, when you read their life, story of life, how Buddha started austerity and became completely emaciated, etc. And then he was distracted by divine plan. Not 3 great musicians passed by. And one was singing, "Do not tune your veena." too tight, it will break. You tune your veena too loose, music will not come well. Tune it neither too tight nor too loose. So, moral of this story, do your austerity, everything has its importance. Fasting is important, controlling your food is important, but do it with a mind that understands how much, and it should be in moderation. And with this I'm going to conclude.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.